afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, August 3rd, 2022, a little after 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a Time for Change call tonight at 9 p.m. Status on the country, status on the global situation, status on the financial system, status on truth. You are neither consciousness nor its content. You are the timeless source, the supreme reality. Imagine what will happen when the majority of us trust that. Nisargadatta. Many of us, the question is posed, how often do you worry about your future? You may not be aware of it. Yet the act of worrying is one of the biggest energy drains people have that stops them from manifesting the life of their dreams. Worry is a lot like TV, and that the worried mindset will pull you in and entertain you for hours, days, years, and even lifetimes. Worrying is praying for what you don't want to manifest, and is exactly how we create what we don't want in our lives. If you're always putting energy into what you don't want to happen, how much energy is left to meditate on and feel what you do want? It's really interesting because that the strangeness of this is that we do it so often, and we've done it for so many lifetimes, that it's natural for us. It seems to be just a regular flow. You worry, right? And it isn't our natural state of being. It's the opposite. But see, when you get in that comfort zone, you're used to laying on that nail, right? And as long as you don't move, then you put up with the pain that the nail causes, and it's okay, so you live with it. When we spend our time hoping and wishing that we don't experience something, the universe just hears that as something you really need to experience. When we spend our time hoping and wishing that we didn't experience or that we don't experience something, the universe just hears that as something you really need to experience. Worry stems from not trusting your personal connection to the universe, which means you. Not trusting your personal connection to the universe. It is created, it's root creation, from being attached to some positive and negative ideas about a future situation. The mind is attached to the thought, and that it will not happen the way you think it should. So the mind is attached to the thought that it will not happen the way you think it should. Worrying is living in a what-if state of mind that is visualizing what you, don't want to experience, instead of what you do. When we are worried, we have stopped appreciating, trusting, and are focusing on fear. What might or might not occur is ultimately up to the universe in the end. And our main job is to raise our vibration so that we do our little part in making the planet a more enjoyable place, and inadvertently attracting the highest possible people and situations into our lives. Worry is caused from a lack of consciousness, which can be shifted with a little mental discipline and focus. When worrying, the reins on the mind are too tight on fear and too loose on love. The mental horses of the mind run wild when worry is present, and you end up getting pulled down roads you never wanted to go down. If you've been practicing the fine art of worrying for years, you may be numb to passion, pleasure, and freedom, and have become a worry zombie. To step out of the zombie zone, you simply need to do one thing: hold back on the reins of your mind. Steer those addicted horses back to your pleasure pastures by staying focused on trust and feeling the positive outcome you really want. You'll soon find that the mind is much happier, and its worried approach to living will leave your life stable. This universe knows what it is doing. It is divinely intelligent and vastly creative. What if the future was 100% perfect exactly as it showed up, and there was nothing you could do about it? What if you could see the bigger picture of the next 100 years of your life and know that there was absolutely nothing you needed to change for it to learn what your soul came here to learn? How would it feel if you could surrender to trusting the future all the time? Now, it's up to all of us to let go and experience trust for ourselves and this divine cosmic play called life. When we let go and trust what is and what will be, magical things begin to happen. This universe will start answering your every request because you are in alignment with what is. Instead of trying to change, control, or conquer what is destined to be, the mind is too small of a container to understand how everything is predestined. And yet we have the free will to change our imminent future. The future is not set in stone for any of us. It is written in the sand, which ironically is what allows the mind to experience the energy of worry in the first place. If everything was set in stone, there would be no way we could grow and have the grand experience of shifting from love to fear. If we are ready to step permanently out of worry mode in our lives, take an honest, deep look inside ourselves and see what our personal worry issues are usually strapped around. Why are we so attached to these issues and not the other issues? So we get curious about the subtleties of this attachment and simply notice how it feels to be attached. The next step is replacing worry with wonder and being curious about what these hurting parts inside you truly need. Now, after we find out what we are missing, love, trust, appreciation, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness. Then we let them feel what they need. Feel a sense of wonder inside about everything inside you. Constantly refocus your mind on being curious about what it discovers is true and real. Every single time the mind goes into worry, it automatically replaces it with wonder. Implement this simple switch the instant you begin worrying, and your life will become absolutely wonderful. Choose one of your main worries to replace with wonder right now. If you choose, later, sometime today, write down your top 3 biggest worries in this life. Then write down 3 new statements that flip these worries upside down by implanting the energy of wonder. For instance, if you're worried about making enough money to cover your bills, you might say, I wonder how the money I need this month is going to show up. Practice saying these wonderful sentences to yourself and out loud. Anytime you start to worry, get curious about what fearful future you're running from and find out what it's like to be at peace, even if that future should occur. Focus your mind on the expansive feelings of peace, trust, and relaxation anytime you get caught in fearful future mode. Life is definitely full of surprises. It's because we haven't mastered our thoughts, so a lot of them come in as they seem to be random. And it will give you, right? Life is definitely full of surprises. And it will give you the greatest gifts that you could ever desire if you remain curious and open. It all boils down to you. Nobody else. Boils down to you. Because we discover ourselves. We choose to. It's a choice. We discover ourselves. Those of us that choose to discover ourselves, right? We go within and we start revealing many things that we hid. And ask yourself this. Picture yourself standing in the middle of nowhere. Really, there's no houses, right? There's no civilization, signs of it at all. You're standing in the middle of a forest. You only have the clothes on your back. You don't have anything else, right? You don't have a vehicle. You don't have a dwelling. That's it. You have the clothes on your back, and you're standing in the middle of the forest, and that's it. There's no place of civilization. Now, when you have trust in yourself, and you have trust in the universe, and you know the universe has your back at all times, right? In every lifetime. And you have that faith. So you look around, and it's not like you don't have any money, you don't have any food, you don't have anything. Right? Material world. What would be your first attention? Where would you put your first attention? Usually we say to ourselves, what am I going to do? Right? Now, most people would just panic, right? You think they'd panic, right? Where they're saying they freak out. How am I going to eat? What am I going to do? How am I going to protect myself from the elements? And so on and so forth. And Then there's some of us that will say, okay, first things first. I've got to find shelter. Now, when you're dropped off in the woods and there's nothing around, all you have is clothes on your back. This goes further, though. Let's just say that you just don't have anything. Don't have a house, don't have friends, don't have nothing, right? Just you. And you say, all right. And you're not upset. You're not worried. You say, okay, first things first. I have got to find shelter from the elements. Either find it or create it. That's the first thing. And the other two things is what? You have to find a source of water. Okay? And you don't have to, but you choose to find a source of water and a source of food. Those three things are mandatory for you to stay in that body. Now, it doesn't mean that you have any education experience whatsoever on doing any of that. Okay? But you know that in order for that body to survive, these are the three things that you must manifest. So, basic understanding is to protect our bodies from the elements and to eat and to drink water, clean water, food. Now, when do we accomplish that? Right? What do we worry about? When we accomplish that, what is it that we worry about? Well, we worry about being able to sustain food, right, for ourselves, to sustain water, clean drinking water for ourselves, and to keep us protected from the elements, shelter. Those are the three things that occupy our attention is put on all the time. Just those three things. Big difference from how we do it now, right? Big difference. How many things do you worry about, right? Now. Not you dropping off, not you being in the woods, right? And just having those three basics to focus on. Because quite frankly, in reality, those are the only three things that we ever need to be focused on. And not to worry. Because we know we carry out those tasks, right? It's common sense for us. You know, I got to protect my body from the elements. I got to find food and water. That's it. Pretty simple, isn't it? But see, and then we have faith in things. So it may sound strange. You say, I'll manifest shelter. I'll manifest food source. I'll manifest water source. Now, it may sound silly to some people. Say, oh, that's silly. How can you do that? You can. And people have done it effortlessly. And it doesn't mean you're going to walk into a clearing when you're in the woods and you're going to have a big table with all kinds of food on it. But situations and areas show up. In this life, it's really about training ourselves on how we desire and want our lives to be. It has nothing to do with out there. You're the supreme reality. You're the one who manifests with your power your life. That's it. You can argue with the ego mind until you're blue in the face. But in reality, true reality, which you are, we each are supreme reality. We don't realize, and we don't believe that we have this power deep within us, that we can do all this. Now, we also create struggle for ourselves, challenge. It kind of makes life interesting. Now, if you knew exactly what was going to happen every waking moment, every single moment of your existence in that body, if you knew everything that was going to happen, how soon would it become redundant and really blah for all of us? Wouldn't take too long. That's why when we create things for ourselves through our thoughts, unconsciously, and then they were presented with them, a lot of us believe that it came from somewhere, that it came from out there to us, not for us. And in reality, we're so preoccupied with everything that we don't realize that we're the ones creating it. Isn't that amazing? And the majority of us don't believe we have the power to create anything, manifest anything, moving energy into form, creating it into reality, and experiencing it. We don't believe in ourselves. It's not a negative. It's how we've been trained as a civilization, generation after generation. You can't do that. That's not possible. Why don't you spend your time on something more realistic? And there's so much phraseology and sentencing and everything in our civilization. It denotes or detracts from our natural state of being. Any of us. And this is what's really interesting. I think some of us believe, there's certain people that are special. They have special gifts and talents. Not really. The only reason that they have avenues that they aren't consciously aware of that open up for them. You can manifest things unconsciously, and then believe that you have some kind of special gift. Because now understand that when you experience other people that have some kind of something that you say, wow, I could never do that, right? This is because of separation, the illusion of separation with this civilization. We believe that we're separate, okay? That's the illusion. So we view things separately. So that person has a wonderful voice, and then you say to yourself, I wish I had a voice like that, right? And then you come across somebody else that says, wow, I wish I could build something like they just built. And we all do that, just different subjects and so on and so forth. And so we envy in a way. But what we don't realize is that the God in that body is part of the God in your body. This is why in the meditations we say at times that you're Buddhas, all of you are Buddhas. You're all Maitreya's, you're all Kuan Yin's, you're all angels, you're everything, and everything is you. But it's difficult for the mind. See, that's where we have difficulty. The mind is too small of an illusion of a vessel. It just isn't able to comprehend that. This is our dilemma. So we go within. And then we discover the God that we are, the pure consciousness, the pure, deep, eternal love. This is what we do. Some of us, right? And what that does is that we realize I am everything. Everything is me. Literally. And we're not talking about the bodies. Those are the suits, those are created so that we can feel that we are independent, so that we experience things that seem to be separate from everybody else, which is all an illusion. What do you believe would happen, right? In the event that this civilization came into an understanding that it was the God within the body, and that everything the civilization did, it did together. Wouldn't that be amazing? We all knew that we were part of each other, not separate. And that when we came together, have you ever noticed something? When you're with a group of people, and the group of people, right? And I'm not talking about disruptive group or anything, but it feels good. You're with a group of people and it feels good, right? And you feel powerful in a way. You feel secured, right? Which is an illusion. But you feel good about it. If you have a group of people and they're all on the same page and you're all moving together, many things happen. Many. Do you believe that this planet would be in such disarray? Not a chance. Do you believe that all of these advancements in technologies that have been kept from the civilization would not have been kept from the civilization, would have been released a long time ago? And then, where are we going? Where are we going as a civilization? Is it natural for us to be separated in the illusion, right? The bodies and, all these things, social distancing and all those things that have occurred. No, it's not our natural state. If we're all one, does it make any sense that we believe that we're not? And so we have separation, delusionment, misinterpretation, misguidance, anger, hatred, fear, greed, envy, manipulation, dishonesty. Those all come from the illusion of separation and the ego mind, which is an illusion. You see what happens? We come into this field of illusions. And we're made to believe that we, the gods that we are not. See? That's why there is loneliness, not only in the body, but the soul. The soul's not in the body. Lonely. Why? Because we haven't discovered really, truly who and what we are. That's the bottom line. We haven't. Is it a negative? No. This isn't, it isn't a race. We're not in a competition. Each of us, all part of each other. And that will never change. Really, seriously. We have always been one. We always will be one. All gods in physical forms in all directions, in all existence and beyond consciousness, are one. thing that gets confusing for many of us is that we're visual in these bodies, right? So we look, our eyes interpret things. For all of us, we look at something and the mind, right, the brain, and everything starts calculating, moving, and everything. And so we make either assumptions, suppositions, guesses, projections, however we do it. But when we look at someone else, it's always from the outside in. It's never from the inside out. Maybe once in a while it could be, might be. But see, can you see how confusing that is? Well, if I'm not the body, what am I? And then, of course, comes in what? All the things that the civilization has created for itself, manifested. All these religions, all these beliefs, right? So that kind of, that blocks us in a lot of ways from answering that question truthfully. If I'm not the body, what am I? Well, with the religions, in most cases, they teach us that we are separate, right? And that we're supposed to worship something outside of ourselves. That's a generic across the board with all the religions, but that's a constant with all the religions. We're supposed to worship something that is outside of us. Now, does that make any sense? This is how we get caught with the ego mind and out there. Yesterday and tomorrow. Past, future. The ego mind exists in the material physical world. We don't. The gods that we are. We don't exist in the material physical world. We exist in the now. Is any of us, right? Is any of us, are any of us, and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever, any more powerful than the other? The answer to that is a big no. But the illusion, see, some of us, things seep through. The power of the gods that we are seep through. And some of the things that some people are able to do blow others away. But when you begin to understand there's no separation, that's the illusion. We all have those powers. Some are much more blocked off than others. Directing your God energy. Some people call it chi and ki. And some throughout the ages have learned how to harness that, how to direct it. Doesn't deplete you. See? It's a misconception. Everybody thinks that we give power away. It's kind of a phrasing, a description. When a government rules you, right, and you give that power to the government, it isn't power energy that you are. That's what you are. You don't give that. You give the authority over you, right, which gives the authority power over you. So you're giving away your power of authority to someone else or some other group so that they rule over you. That's, she's a misconception. Well, I'm going to lose my power, get my power, and get my power back. It's not literal. It's just that you give your power of authority away. Right? You give your power of self-governance away. We, right, don't give our God power away. It is eternal. And so in the next few minutes of this meditation, it's a little bit different today. Focus on your breath. Easy in through the nose, easy out through the mouth, slow. Move into the now, because when you do your breath, you move into the now. Focus on one thing through this meditation. The God that you are in that body. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close this up. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy, slow breath out of the mouth. Be still. You are here. We are here to share love and be loved. Love is the cause of joy in our lives, and fear is the cause of all suffering. In each moment, it is our choice as to what we wish to experience. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. We will return here, 9 p.m. Eastern, to continue our Time for Change call. And tomorrow, Thursday, August 4th, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call.